Chapter 26. The Eye in the Sky. It was like walking from day into night without ever going outside. The contrast to the surreal quiet of the artificial desert, the current surroundings were a noisy blur of ringing bells, spinning wheels, and flashing lights. The gleaming gold statue of Egyptian gods, this was the Cairo Hotel Casino. "Whoa, this place is ridiculous," said Yoji. "It's pretty big," concerned Max Ernest. "Yeah, its carbon footprint is even bigger," said Cass. "Can you imagine how much energy that is used in this one room? It's disgusting." "Ever heard of fun?" asked Yoji. Cass's eyes narrowed. "It's possible to have fun without wasting energy." Max Ernest couldn't help himself. "Well, technically it's not possible to do anything without using energy. I'm sure a certain amount is always..." "Max Ernest, groaned Cass. "Which way is out?" "Yeah, let's motor," said Yoji. "Where's the bathroom? Does anyone else have to take a leak?" They glanced around. The casino seemed to go on forever in every direction. There were no visible exits or even any visible walls. Instead, wherever they looked, they saw another way to gamble. "We have to get home," said Cass, growing anxious. So far, she reflected, their mission had been worst fail ever. Not only had they failed to find the mummy's finger, they'd been trapped inside a crate overnight and shipped far away from home. They were suspected to be stealing a mummy, and now the mummy's finger, and almost certainly weren't going to graduate. And they very well might wind up in jail. Meanwhile, Lord Pharaoh, wherever he was, had nabbed the finger and was well on his way to resurrecting the mummy and learning the secret. Only one thing stood in his way, the fact that Cass had the Ring of Thoth. She felt around her neck for the ring. It was still there, but at this rate she would lose it soon enough. Cass thought of Pietro's face when he learned that Dr. L had betrayed him again. Her heart sank. How much more disappointing would he be when he learned that Cass, his precious secret keeper, had lost his secret forever to the midnight sun. "Why don't we try it this way?" said Yoji, picking a direction at random. The others followed. Almost as miserable as Cass, Max Ernest looked down as they started walking. Beneath their feet was a seemingly endless blue and gold carpet with the pattern of scarabs and ankhs and other Egyptian symbols and hieroglyphs. Max Ernest tried to make sense of what he was looking at, but it was soon clear to him that whoever had designed this carpet hadn't known what the symbols meant. "They're oxymorons," he muttered. "Who are?" asked Yoji. "Nobody. The things on the floors, they contradict each other." "Shh," said Cass. "Let's try not to attract any attention." She pointed to a sign. "No unaccompanied minors." Yoji laughed. "Cheer up. This place is so loud, you don't have to run screaming naked to attract attention." "Nah, that wouldn't even do it. See?" He nodded to a long green carpet table where a man was rolling dice while onlookers screamed in excitement and a nearly naked waitress served drinks. Above the table the sign blinked. "The Lucky Mummy Crabs. Throw your bones." "Actually, all you really have to do is get attention is to cheat. See the glass ball?" He pointed to the small upside-down dome of glass in the ceiling. People look through it, watching for cheaters and criminals and stuff. It's called the Eye in the Sky, which is pretty funny because one of the symbols in the carpet is the Eye of Horus, and Horus is the god of the sky. So it's like two sky eyes staring at each other. How about that? Yoji looked at him like he was crazy. "How do you know?" "About Horus?" "The thing in the ceiling. I read about it. A lot of magicians and comedians work in casinos, so I know a lot about them," said Max Ernest. "Notice how there are no clocks or windows?" "I know, it's so weird," said Cass. "You can't tell what time it is." Max Ernest nodded. "That's on purpose. So you keep gambling forever. Think about it. It's the morning, right? All these people have probably been gambling all night. So if I put a quarter into this thing, I won't be able to stop until I spend all my money?" asked Yoji, approaching the nearest slot machine. It was decorated with an image of gold coins and a pair of hissing cobras. The words "Brave the curse played to win the Pharaoh's gold" flashed off, on and off. "That's the idea." "Okay, let's see," said Yoji. "You can't. It's against the law," said Max Ernest, alarmed. I'll bet kids younger than me do this all the time, Yoji scoffed. And they probably have people watching just for that reason. Maximus is right, said Cass. It's not a good time. Too late, Yoji had already dropped a quarter into the slot machine. Come on, let's live a little, he said, pulling the lever. As soon as the wheel of the slot machine started to spin, a man in a dark suit and a walkie-talkie on his hip walked up to them. Hi kids, your parents around? Just outside, replied Yoji. Well, I suggest you go join them. If you're looking for games, try Adventure Zone. That sounds great, said Cass, with a I told you so glare at Yoji. But first, I know this is going to sound weird. How do we get out? Just follow the Nile. The security man pointed across the casino. What had looked from afar away like more sparkling slot machines was, in fact, the continuation of the Fox River Nile reflecting the lights above. The river led them almost magically to the restrooms and then to the main lobby of the hotel, where it momentarily vanished underground, only to reappear outside the hotel's front doors. Once outside, they could see that the Cairo Hotel had been built into the shape of a pyramid, the biggest pyramid in the world according to the hotel's promotional brochures. Of course, unlike an Egyptian pyramid, the hotel had sides made of glass, and glass was tinted gold. When the sun hit the hotel, it was hitting the hotel now. The building lit up like a volcano. The pyramid sat back from the streets behind the vast plaza that surrounded by the river Nile like the castle surrounded by a moat. On either side of the plaza sat two stone sphinxes, about the size of a pickup truck. In the center of the plaza, the river ended in a large man-made lake that was dotted with lily pads. At the center of the lake was a tall glass obelisk that had turned colors every few seconds. For those who remember, it looks not unlike the ancient multicolored flame that had burned on top of the pyramid, the Midnight Sun Spa. But I would imagine that the obelisk was lit by ordinary colored lights not controlled by a timer. Around the obelisk, tall jets of water spouted and danced in time to the music. It was like one huge environmental crime scene, Cass exclaimed. Look at all the water. We're in the middle of a desert. How can these people live with themselves? She nodded at the throngs of tourists walking in and out of the hotel. She seemed to hold each of them personally responsible for turning a desert ecosystem into a glittering bastion of conspicuous consumption. Giant gold plate doors, each decorated with a giant eye of Horus, flanked the smaller revolving glass doors that led to the hotel and casino. Guarding the doors were a half-dozen men in white cotton shirts and Egyptian headdresses, their skin covered in chalk, so they were so-called living statues, and they didn't blink when tourists snapped photos or kids taunted them. You think they would move if I yelled fire? Asked Yoji. The question is, would you move? Asked Cass. Come on, we need to get home. Point made, but how? Asked Maximus. How what? Asked Cass impatiently. How are we going to get home? You know, like planes, trains, automobiles? Oh, that kind of how? Asked Cass. In a rush to get out of the hotel, she hadn't got as far as her thinking. We can't exactly expect to find another crate lying around, Maximus pointed out. Hey, look who followed us to Las Vegas, Yoji nodded discreetly towards the street where the three priests of Anu they had seen by the Natural History Museum were now standing out in their robes and turbans, holding their protest signs. One of them had a drum and a sword was hitting slowly and rhythmically. They sounded ominous. Cass squinted. They're looking at us. Maximus reacted with alarm. You think they wanted to take revenge on us for breaking the mummy's finger? Maybe they think we have the mummy. Yoji laughed. Now you're really losing it. Seems like if they were going to attack us, they already would have, said Cass. Unless they're waiting until there's less people around, said Maximus. To be grammatically correct, he should have said fewer people, but I'm afraid he was a bit nervous. Then they're going to drag us out into the scorching sun of the Nevada desert, perform some kind of ancient Egyptian curse ritual, and leave us to die of dehydration while the scorpions sting us until we hallucinate about being eaten alive by an army of red ants crawling in and out of our eyeballs. How about that? Sick man, as said Yoji, as if he were watching the scene in his head. Think maybe the hunger is getting to you. They didn't come here for us, said Cass, looking up at the point between Max Ernst and Yoji, or not only for us. Yoji and Max Ernst turned around, following her gaze. High above them, two construction workers were unveiling a huge pyramid-shaped billboard decorated with what looked like shimmering gold sequins. The Cairo Hotel presents Lord Pharaoh, the Invisible Magician, Las Vegas' latest entertainment sensation in the gold dawn of the Mummy Rise. The evening of magical alchemy and illusion. Special guests, Skeleton Sisters. Lord Pharaoh's here. Max Ernst took a step backwards. Lord Pharaoh, an entertainment sensation, said Cass. Yoji shook his head, not really keeping it on the low-profile tip, is he, Lord P. The three of them look up against the immense sign, larger than a small car, or even a big one, as in fact most of things in Vegas seem to be. What does he have to lose? Nobody can see him anyways, which makes it pretty easy to do magic by that way, said Max Ernst bitterly. He had been practicing magic tricks for a few years now and was frustrated at his lack of progress. Anybody can disappear when they're invisible. That's cheating. Wait, the mummy rises? Yoji looked up at the billboard again. How can he do that without the ring? He can't, said Cass simply. It was all becoming clear to her. He was waiting for us to bring it to him. Max Ernst was confused. Bring it to him? Where? When? At the show. Why would he do that? Think about it. This is our chance. All we have to do is put the ring on the mummy's finger before Lord Pharaoh does, and learn the secret. Well, I'll learn the secret. She felt an electric tinkle in her ears. The idea that the secret was so close to her now, in the same city, on the same block, in the same hotel, even was almost intoxicating. Lord Pharaoh knows we have no choice. Max Ernst shook his head. I knew it was too easy. The crate waiting open like that for us. Lord Pharaoh's been playing a game with us the whole way. For all we know, he had them put that big billboard up just so we would see it. Max Ernst could feel himself starting to panic. And now you want to deliver the ring to him on a platter. Well, maybe he shouldn't be so sure of himself, said Cass defensively. But how are we supposed to get the finger from him in front of the whole audience? How do we bring the mummy back to life before he does? How anything, Max Ernst stammered in frustration. I don't know, said Cass. We have to go to the show and we'll work it out when we get there. Just like we always do. See, Yoji grinned. It's all good. You understand we could be killed, said Max Ernst, or worse. Cass nodded. I doubt he would kill us in front of all those people, but yeah, it's a possibility. Come on, dude, said Yoji to Max Ernst. What do you want us to do? Go home empty-handed? Then we're as good as dead anyways. Max Ernst shrugged. We'll need tickets. He knew when he was beaten, it happened quite often.